Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The mild weather has prompted the city to close the outdoor ice surfaces it maintains. The city says the fluctuating temperatures are making it difficult to maintain safe surfaces. The closure includes the speed skating oval at the Service Sports Center and the Bud Miller All Seasons Park Lake. The city says storm water retention ponds might look frozen, but the water underneath is constantly moving, and the ice thickness becomes less predictable with the milder conditions during the day. Valentine's Day may be long gone now, but the spirit of the day is still quite strong in Lloydminster. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how a school in Lloyd turned a Facebook post into a way to spread more kindness.
Grade 2 students at Father Gorman have been engaged in an ongoing Valentine's Day project. Grade 2 teacher Lori Bender took it upon herself to make a post on Facebook, asking for people around the world to send in Valentine's Day cards to their class. And the reception was more than anyone was expecting.
I sent out a post on Facebook, just one post, and asked people to help me out and to share it. And it blossomed into so many people sharing my post. I think I have over 400 shares, and plus also then sent it out to my families who shared with their families. And the cards started to flood in. Over
300 cards have been sent in from over 25 different countries. The project has now branched off into teaching the children more about geography and where these cards are coming from.
We've got minis from USA, Canada, Australia, Brazil, Sweden.
Overall, the class project taught the kids more than they were anticipating going in, but walk away knowing kindness is the most important part.
It's okay to be kind, because if you be kind to someone else, they might be kind to you.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world.
The CCAA Women's Basketball Nationals are underway at Lakeland College, but before the basketball was played, a banquet was held to kick off the elite tournament. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
The banquet had all the players and coaches from across the country in attendance. There were greetings from Lakeland College President Dr. Alice Wainwright Stewart, CCAA delegate Kara Isaac, and guest speaker Leanna Clausen. The climax of the evening was the announcement of the CCAA awards. First was the CCAA Coach of the Year, and the winner this year was Lakeland's very own Chris King.
I couldn't think of a better coach to have on our side. He's so thoughtful in so many ways. He's so smart. He knows basketball so well. And the other thing is all our team, our whole team, every single person in our team trusts him to the max, 100%.
Next up were the All-Canadian Awards, where 12 girls received national recognition. And then finally, the CCAA Player of the Year. And in a sweep for the Rustlers, Missy Nuku in her rookie season won the prestigious award.
Yeah, I think what Missy did this year as a freshman is pretty phenomenal. We went from a 10-10 team to a 20-0 team this year. She did it on defense. She scored the ball. She passed the ball. She can create steals, rebound the ball. So really fantastic for someone of her age, and the ceiling is very high for her. She's only going to keep getting better. So we thought she did a lot of really great things, and we're very happy to see the CCAA reward her with Player of the Year. Could have went to any of those All-Canadians. There's a lot of really good ones out there, but really fortunate for her to get that award.
Nationals is currently underway with elite basketball games taking place until Championship Saturday, where the bronze and gold medal games will take place, and the CCAA Championship banner will be handed out. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, Local News.
And Thomas Wildman joins us now in studio with the weather.
Well,
Thank you, Leanne, and congratulations to Chris and Missy on fantastic wins. They certainly are doing the wrestlers proud, and they should be playing that game very shortly out there at Lakeland today. The CCA Nationals, of course, starting today and will be going on, as I mentioned, throughout the weekend until Saturday. So lots of great basketball taking place here in Lloydminster. Taking a look at our weather, our future radar here, you'll see just down by Regina there we go, that they're going to be seeing a little bit of light snow / rain down there as well, and we can see it as we flip back here that Calgary and Lethbridge will also be seeing it a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit of snow down south for our friends down there, but for us it looks like it's going to be clear skies for the foreseeable future, at least until after Thursday night. Taking a look at the current temperatures across the central region here, Cold Lake at that 3-degree mark, as Lloydminster is still at that 2-degree mark. Athabasca is sitting at a nice 7 degrees out to the west, as is Edmonton at a nice 6 degrees. Red Deer a little chillier at 4 degrees. Rocky Mountain House at 7 degrees, as is Edson. Whitecourt leading the way at 8 degrees, and Jasper just a little cooler at 6 degrees out in the mountains. Taking a look at the Saskatchewan side of the central part of the region, North Battleford and Prince Albert sitting at 0 degrees, Melfort sitting at -4 degrees, and Meadow Lake and Saskatoon both sitting at -1 degree. Taking a look at the southern part of the province, we'll start in Saskatchewan, Kindersley at that 0 degree mark as well. Yorkton a little bit warmer there at 1 degree. Moose Jaw and Regina sitting at 2 degrees apiece, and Swift Current at -1, with Estevan also at that 2 degree down by the border. Taking a look at the Alberta side, they're quite a bit warmer there, as Lethbridge is sitting at 7 degrees, Calgary is sitting at 6 degrees, Banff is sitting at 4 degrees, Medicine Hat is sitting at -1 degrees. I apologize to all of our Coronation viewers, but it appears we're having just a small error, so we won't be able to give you a current update on that. Tomorrow's forecast, we're going to be sitting at 6 a.m. at a -5 here in Lloydminster. We'll warm up to 0 degrees at noon. It will get a little bit warmer as the evening goes on at 6 p.m. all the way up to 3 degrees with some hazy sunshine, and then it will be cloudy once again at midnight, cloudy throughout the beginning of the day, and 2 degrees as it gets to the end of the day for tomorrow. Taking a look at tomorrow elsewhere, North Battleford will be at 2 degrees for a high. Plenty cloudy out there and a little bit of wind at a southwest 13 kilometers per hour, so you'll probably dip into those lower temperatures for our friends out in North Battleford. And Cold Lake will be similar, but will probably only be dipping down to close to 0, 15 kilometer west-south wind with 8 degrees for their high, 9% chance of precipitation in it. It's going to be a little bit sunny, becoming cloudier later in the day. Taking a look now at our travel forecast for the close local area, we're seeing as low as 3 degrees for tomorrow for Paradise Hill. It'll get a little bit warmer if you go a little bit more north to Isla Cross and Bonnyville at 8 degrees, and 6 and 5 degrees for Meadow Lake. Cloudy for a few of the places, and then some mixing sun and cloud for Bonnyville and Isla Cross. Taking a look at travel forecast for tomorrow for Murnum and elsewhere. Calgary going to be pretty warm there at 10 degrees. Pearceland at 9 degrees. A little bit colder closer to home at Unity and Wainwright at 3 and 5 degrees respectively. And taking just a quick look overnight across the way, we're going to see as low as high or as low as -9 and as low high as -5 out towards Calgary. And then if for overnight close to home, -8 all the way to -6 for those. A little bit cloudy, some low clouds in Paradise Hill, but mostly cloudy, partly cloudy throughout the region. And finally, just another quick look at the 7-day forecast. On Sunday, we're going to be getting up to 3 degrees, and then throughout into next week, it's going to be really warm on Monday, but then some unfortunate looking weather as we get into later into next week. 46% chance of a later flurry on Tuesday, and a 70% chance of a flurry of some snows on Wednesday. Temperatures dipping down lower as we get later into the week. But that will do it for our second look at the weather forecast. We'll have some more news headlines coming up after the break.
I am speaking with Constable Melanie Flynn from the Lloydminster RCMP today. And Melanie, we're talking about something exciting coming up for the kids over the March break. What can you tell me?
Well, the Lloydminster RCMP are hosting over Easter break, so April 2nd to the 4th, a RCMP Youth Academy. So we're seeking local applicants to sign up for that. Yeah.
And okay, so what ages can apply for this to come?
So we're primarily targeting grade 9 to 12, so ages 15 to 19. There has been some 14-year-olds interested, and we've just been saying, put your application in at 14. If we're trying to get at least 30 students to participate. So if our numbers are low, we'll then look at the 14-year-olds, but primarily 15 to 19 is what we're looking for.
Melanie, what's the goal of the academy? Why are you targeting this age group?
We're just wanting to have these youth to start thinking about their careers, and if they're interested in a career in law enforcement or with the RCMP, what a career would look like with the RCMP. So it's more of an exposure academy. So we have, but the youth will learn lots along the way. But we have units here locally that are going to join us. So from our forensic identification units to our police unit or police dog unit, to our who else general investigation services are coming, our fitness department out of Edmonton will be joining us. So just more of an exposure for the youth to understand what the RCMP is all about and what type of careers they could have if they join the RCMP.
I know that in other jurisdictions, recruitment has been an issue. Is it an issue in Alberta at all?
Yeah, recruitment, we're seeing it kind of bounce back since COVID, but over COVID, and then kind of a little thereafter, we're definitely our troop sizes had been on the decline, but we are seeing it increase again. And we do see a lot of youth, or well, a lot of people that come through training, they've done some RCMP camps and RCMP academies and get a sense of what a career would be like with the RCMP. So it's programs or initiatives like this are really great to inspire and keep people motivated on their career path.
I suppose part of that too is there is a bit of travel involved and possibly moving. You actually came from the East Coast.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes that's a deterrent with the RCMP, but the RCMP has been making a lot of progression around sending people back to where they want to go. But yeah, when I came through 10 years ago, it was you're probably not going to go back to the East Coast, but that's not the story anymore. I know lots of people who've applied out of Nova Scotia or out of PEI, and then they're able to get back east with their first post and second post. So, but the willingness to travel Canada, it is part of joining the RCMP.
That's awesome. I think that would be an excellent opportunity. And I wish back when I was getting out of high school, I didn't meet the requirements. I'm only 5 feet tall and not fit. So it wasn't an opportunity for me, but I would have loved to do it. So I think this is awesome that people are considering it now. I do appreciate your time today, Melanie. Is there anything that you want to touch on that I may not have asked? Is there a cost, I guess, is at all?
No, it's a free program. So it's 3 days of kind of immersive work with our CMP officers. So I tell all the students, it's not just Constable Flynn you're going to see. There'll be other police officers there, and it'll run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day, and in partnership with the Lloydminster and Area Drug Strategy Committee, we've been able to secure some funding, so it's completely free. We've also partnered with the school divisions, and they're helping supply facilities, and of course we'll be feeding the kids lunch and snacks throughout the day. So yeah, it'll be a great way to spend your April break. That's what I keep telling the students. We've done some blitzes at the school, at the Lloyd Comprehensive High School and the Holy Rosary High School, just to get the kids interested. And if there is interest, we encourage parents or youth to reach out via email. They can email me at melanie.flynn@rcmp-grc.gc.ca. Or even if you call the detachment and ask for Constable Flynn, they'll get that information to them. So they do just have to fill out a little application package, and then we'll review them. And then by March 25th, we hope to have 30 students on board with the Youth Academy.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Melanie. I will check back with you on the 25th and see how the camp is going and where your numbers are at. I appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for meeting with me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Leanne.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Well, it's that time of the week again when Stephanie Dobson joins us for another episode of Healthy Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankin Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Lloydminster and Edmonton. Stephanie, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stacey.
Well, we started last week talking about the Divorce Act and changes that happened to it several years ago. And today we're going to, I guess, just be expanding on that a little bit. So we talked basically 3-part interviews on different topics. And so basically, let's start by what's going to be covered in each part, Stephanie.
Sure. So our viewers might recall that last week we started with part 1, which was the terminology around parenting and the focus of the new Divorce Act on relationships. So when I say new Divorce Act, March 1st of 2021 is when it came into effect. Part 2 is today. So we'll be talking about the best interests of the children, how that's outlined in the new act, including a brand new section addressing family violence. And part 3, we're going to divide into two, sort of an A and a B of that segment. So we'll be talking about relocation and then the duties of parties and their legal advisors in a court action. So I just want to remind our viewers that today's topic covers issues for parents who are married. So that's under the Federal Divorce Act. Another exciting development, though, for unmarried parents is that effective on March 1st of 2021, Saskatchewan actually brought in a new Children's Law Act, which mirrors a lot of the principles in the Divorce Act. And in Alberta, unmarried parents have been able to use these best interest list that we'll be going over today. They've been able to use it since 2005.
Okay, well, let's talk about that phrase, Stephanie, best interests of children. Let's dive a little bit deeper. What exactly does that mean?
So the foundation of family law in Canada and in international law is the idea of this best interests of the children. That's sort of a phrase that's well known in our area. So there's similar language to start in the old act, the old Divorce Act and the new Divorce Act, which is making it about children. So the court is only to consider what's called the best interests of the children. The difference is in the old Divorce Act, there was no list as to what that best interest meant. That list had been developed over the years by the court. So in the new Divorce Act, there's now a non-exhaustive list of what that means, the best interests of the children.
Can we get into that a little bit, Stephanie, and talk about what some of those interests are?
Well, it's a long list, but I thought that I would go over it with our viewers here today so that they can get an idea of what that means. So there's a long list that starts with the number 1 priority, which is the safety, security, and well-being of the child above all other considerations. So the rest of the list is 11 items in no particular order of priority. So let's go through those now. The first one is the child's needs, given the child's age and stage of development. The nature and the strength of the child's relation. Number 2 is the nature and strength of the child's relationship with each spouse, siblings, grandparents, and other important persons. So it recognizes that stability in these extended relationships can have value for children transitioning into 2 homes. Number 3 is each parent's willingness to support the development and maintenance of the child's relationship with the other parent. So that's another rule we call the friendly parent rule. Number 4 is the history of care of the child. So the courts will look at the role that each parent played before the separation occurred and the knowledge and ability to cope with things like daily routines and health issues. Number 5, the child's views and preference. Of course, this will depend on the child's age and stage of maturity. Number 6, the child's cultural, linguistic, religious, and spiritual upbringing and heritage, including Indigenous upbringing and heritage. Number 7, the plans for a child's care. So the courts will consider any parenting plan that's already been developed by the parents or proposed by one parent. Number 8, and we're almost done with our list, is the ability and willingness of a parent to meet the needs of a child. Number 9, the ability and willingness of co-parents to communicate and to cooperate. So we're talking here about shielding children from their parents' conflict. Number 10, family violence. And number 11, other relevant criminal or civil proceedings with the parents.
Well, and can you expand on the family violence topic a little bit and how the courts view that and see that when it going through the divorce proceedings?
So the definition of family violence is expansive. It's not tied to criminality. It looks more at the members of the household who are conducting themselves in a way that's violent, threatening, or constitutes a pattern of coercive and controlling behavior, which causes the family members to fear for their own safety or for that of another person. So there's a non-exhaustive list. So things that you would think of like physical or sexual abuse or harassment, but it even goes further into psychological, financial abuse, failing to provide the necessaries of life, or even abuse towards animals or properties. So it also validates that a child's direct or indirect exposure to family violence is in and of itself family violence. So we're talking here about trying to shield the children from parental conflict is a really big and important factor here. And the impact of family violence, as I mentioned in our last question, is actually considered when assessing the best interests of the child.
So it's all kind of basically interconnected, Stephanie. Again,
is.
so much to talk about when it comes to this subject, and we'll be back next week to go through part 3 with some more questions and issues talking about the new Divorce Act and some of the changes. So Stephanie, thanks again for joining me, and we will see you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
Well, that is all that we have for you tonight. Thanks for joining us and have a great evening.